As of yesterday, every single member of the board just resigned from DNA tester 23andMe. Now, as we always say, the movies play themselves out in real time and real events. 23andMe's former headquarters was located in Sunnyvale, California, and as a young millennial who saw the movie Life Size, it automatically clicked in my head. Sunnyvale was home of the doll named Eve, manufactured by Marathon Toys. Now, you guys know I do my homework, so I don't just go making random assumptions. Of course, Marathon Toys made me think of Mattel, the toy manufacturing company that's also associated with brands like Barbie. Now, Mattel Incorporated also matched Google, as well as 23andMe. The term Google, which means a number represented by 1 followed by 100 zeros, was a term that the owners of Google used in order to create the name. Now, the reason why I show this picture in particular is because, as most people have seen who study this kind of stuff, that even the logo for Google Play is a sigil of Lucifer, Lucifer representing the light bringer or the light bearer. Anne Wojcicki is the former wife of the founder of Google. So let's weave a story here. Anne reminds me of the actress Anne-Marie Loder, who plays Drew in the movie Life Size, who works for a toy company that produces this doll named Eve for her boyfriend's daughter Casey. Anne Wojcicki also has a Barbie that was made in her image. And so if you guys remember the movie Life Size, right, it was all about this little girl, Casey, who wanted to bring her mother back to life, but she used this Egyptian spell book and instead ended up bringing the doll Eve to life. And I couldn't help thinking, what would the CEO of Google and the CEO of 23andMe could possibly be doing together or working together on? Well, of course, when I thought of Eve, I thought of the mitochondrial Eve. In the field of human genetics, mitochondrial Eve refers to the most recent common matriarchal ancestor from whom all living beings are descended. Well, when I consider what the matrilineal Eve would be, she would be a combination of all the genetic imprints of everyone around the world, the base woman. And of course, original Barbie equals the Eve gene. So placing together modern day technology or even more futuristic technology with the pairing of people sending in genetic DNA everywhere, it seems as though something was probably being studied here. I'm open to being wrong though. Tyra Banks, who played Eve in the movie, changed her modeling name to Banks, emphasis on the X. And this made me think of how women carry the double X chromosome. And of course got me thinking back to things I've spoken about before, like Henrietta Lacks and having the original HeLa cells. And I thought about how much could be accomplished if one could find the original map for all of genetics. One could only assume that people would study this because they want to either cure or create more diseases, use things like 3D printing and technology to collect public data, learn how the human mind works, and even drive or study what drives human consumerism, emotions, and give an advantage on the technology of using the original feminine in order to create an even deeper hive mind that already exists just in an artificial world. Now, the young Casey, played by Lindsay Lohan, is well known for one of her roles in the movie Mean Girls, in which she wants to join a group of girls known as the Plastics. And I also thought about why this theme of Barbie and pink has been pushed over the last year. It also made me think of Nicki Minaj and her symbolism that she's always used for Barbie. Pink Friday, and Friday being the day of Venus, looking very identical to Ariana Grande, starring as the new Glinda, Good Witch of the North. And we know that Nicki Minaj had the Gag City vibes as well as doing music with Ice Spice for the movie Barbie. But let me tie this together more for you. So in Egyptian mythology, you have 3 parts of the soul, the Ba, the Ka, and the Ak. This word phonetically ends up being bank. Yes, I know that they sound different and they're spelled different, but let me explain the concept to you. So we know banks to be financial institutions, but banks also in geography are land alongside a body of water. Who holds all the water? The genetic coding, the material that is then used and placed out into the external world, that is used every day not only to birth human souls, but to hold and store the memories of all data and all humans everywhere. And I mean this in a form of collective consciousness, not exactly one person remembering everything, but one person or one archetype holding all of these memories. Why else would technology need to be studied so heavy? Not only can the study of human genetics, especially the original, modify the way that an entire society is run, but also help people study literally the keys and secrets to life. If they can figure out the original DNA, or at least continue to copy and clone it, you could make your own Westworld per se. Also find it funny that Sergey Brin and his ex-wife visited Epstein's you-know-what island, and allegedly he was said to be working with the Sophia bot. So I believe a lot of this boils down to these billionaires, and this isn't to point a finger. I just really observe people's intentions. What you could do with OG DNA and some of the most advanced technology in the world. I mean, they've already shown us in movies, we've seen it plenty of times in all these cyberpunk dystopian films about the world that's being created. So it should be no shock and no surprise to anyone. Everything from Ariana Grande's 3435 video, from global fashion runways, pop stars in the media. This age of futurism using the woman as the original technology to copy and mimic is very clear here. I even noticed that Anne, the founder of 23andMe, and Ira Levin, who's the author of the movie The Stepford Wives, share a similar birthday cipher. And of course, they also match in gematria as well. And so creating a programmable or artificial world where one can use technology to fuse, study, and monitor the ideas of humans that we feed through technology companies like Google, for example. Not only is development always happening to make artificial intelligence smarter, but to continually regenerate this idea of taking divine feminine wisdom that exists within everybody, and I mean everybody, and find ways to copy, manipulate, change, distort, whatever word you want to use, for the purpose of driving global political and social thought into creating your own Westworld. Now, am I telling you to go out into the streets, scream, shout, get mad? Absolutely not. This technology has been in development for literally years now, and this is not the first time that it's happened. People have always studied the technology of how humans work, of how brains work, and how even the oldest sciences in the world still yet have not really publicly displayed where the original matriarchal line comes from. Taking away culture, taking away background, taking away stereotypes and archetypes. How powerful human DNA is, and that of the original matriarch or mother. And now businesses are starting to fail because they've probably been in business and partnership with other people who also don't have the best intentions on what they plan to do with the technology, much less use it for. And their bank or banks can no longer keep up as much with what they're trying to accomplish. I also find it funny that 23andMe's closing day ended at 0.33, 33 also being the number of Christ consciousness. When we're talking about Sophia, we're talking about the divine spark, the divine wisdom. Again, there's really nothing hidden at all. It's just about us having a deeper awareness and understanding of what we're looking at and what's actually going on. Nothing to get scared of, just be aware. Barbie was created on March 9th. The Emergency Banking Relief Act that was passed by Congress and signed into law by Franklin Roosevelt was also on March 9th. Who's the original Akashic Records, the holder of all memory, the birther of all souls and life, who holds the DNA patterns? Just stay vigilant, stay aware.